So, so I have a transgender son named Asher, and Ash is one of the 41% of transgender persons that have made an attempt on life. This was back in December of 2014. He came in one night. At the time, we didn't know he was transgender yet. He'd expressed, as his former gender role, he'd expressed that he was lesbian, he, she. It gets a little confusing. While he was still presenting as Kendra, she'd expressed that she felt as though she was lesbian, and in hindsight, she was probably just spoon feeding us, getting us used to the idea. Like, first I'm lesbian, and then, well, let me let you in on this other thing about me. I'm really a boy. And but somewhere in that, she was fine coming out lesbian, but somewhere in there, she got stuck and didn't know how to make the next move with us. And so the first phase was cutting, and she had came home one night while still presenting as her former self. She came in, it was cold outside, she wouldn't take her jacket off, and wouldn't take her jacket off, and she's like, and we're like, no, take your jacket off now. And she was literally sleeved from wrist to shoulder in cuts. And so we, asked her if she thought she needed help. Yeah, so we took her to Children's, and prior to Children's, and we went through the check-in process and all that with their mental health area, and they weren't sure if they were going to keep her overnight or not. And so while they were there, her mother called me. It was like they want you to sweep the room, so I went to sweep the room, make sure there were nothing she could hurt herself with. And that's when I found a letter. I don't remember if it was a dresser or under a pillow or whatever, but the letter was a couple weeks old, and it basically was stating that, well, that's when we got the realization that it was going to be more than, that Kendra was lesbian. It was going to be that Kendra wanted to, or needed to stop pretending to be a girl and be the boy that he was supposed to be.
How old?
This was 13 at the time. Ash is now 14. And so in the note, it basically said that, if they couldn't be who they are, then they weren't going to be staying around the planet. Start out, you probably want to know why I did this. So this was all in past tense, because they'd made an attempt, and probably the more frightening part is this wasn't a breadcrumb trail or a cry for help. This was, they quietly in their room tried something. Still not clear what the something was, but they had the intent was not to be found. It wasn't like cry for help. It was they were on their way out, and fortunately, he failed. Signed the letter, your son Casey. At the time, that was his first chosen name. And then, kid's always been a planner. Page 2 was a will, handwritten will to give all his stuff to transgender charities so that they could live the life that he thought he wasn't going to be able to. And so we got checked in Children's. First day checked into the hospital, we went to get him some clothes and found that he'd pretty well been purging everything. There were no underwear or anything like that, so Melissa and I went to the store. Walked in like, today's good day as any, let's go to the boys section. Got him some boxer briefs, Ninja Turtle t-shirts, stuff like that, took him to the hospital. Handed the bag of clothes to the kid, and he just lit up. He'd been pretty dark, and not himself. And for a few minutes there, regardless of gender roles and stuff like that, when he opened that bag, our kid was back for a minute. But the reality is we weren't done. He was in the hospital for about 5 days, and then we went through checked out, started the therapy process, and about a month later, about 2 months later, it was hospital admission number 2. We had to give him to strangers one more time to help him get his boat back on an even keel. Children's Hospital did amazing. When we handed him off, the kid we got back, I won't say it was 180, probably more like 100 degree from where he was, but they were in a much better spot with regulating the right prescriptions that he needed to help him get on a good path. As a family, we became a part of whatever transgender groups we could find, both from a parental standpoint, got him plugged into things that would give him access to his peer group so that he could see he wasn't walking this walk alone. We're now 18 months, 19 months removed from any serious episodes like that. I won't say it's been perfect, but he's in a much better place and getting to live in the role that he wants to live in.
Is it, I know the answer to this question. I mean, it's pretty uncommon, I would think, especially where we live, that parents would be so open to accepting this.
So, interesting point. When we first found a parental type group to go talk to from a therapy standpoint, because we didn't know what this was. I mean, you'd heard transgender and stuff like that, but we didn't. There's no manual for parenting, let alone parenting in a whole new space that was different. So we found a group. Initially, we walked into the room. There were 3 or 4 couples, and as it went on, it went from 3 to 4 sets of parents to 7 or 8 to 10 or 12, and then my wife started a private Facebook group for transgender parents of transgender kids, and it went from 12, 15 families to now there's probably 120, 140 families on this board. We keep it secret so that folks, just like any other LGBT space, so folks can come out on their terms, not any type of force out or anything like that. And we basically treat it like you would a therapy group. You don't talk about who's Fight Club. You don't talk about who's in Fight Club. Because in this space, folks need their right to privacy and to be able to take their path as they want to take it. And we have we do a monthly social with whoever can make it, so all the kids can hang out, both the transgender as well as the cisgender kids, because this is something that it's a family, both pieces, suicide and when you move into an LGBT space, it's a family thing. It's not just the one person. You travel this road together.